How are we supposed to have meaningful discussions about important social issues when they're becoming so highly politicized? By politicized, I just mean we take our belief in a certain issue and we incorporate it with our sense of identity. This is really bad because it makes us not very objective. It makes facts lose their meaning. We become open to things like confirmation bias. Today, let's talk about how we can reframe the issue of global warming. Reframing can be a really useful tool in any debate, but today we're going to focus on how we reframe global warming. There's a joke that goes, how many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? Only one, but the light bulb has to want to change. So you really can't change anyone's mind, but hopefully you can give them a different perspective, and maybe that's helpful. So in order to reframe this whole argument of are humans causing the temperature of the earth to rise, instead let's look at what underlies all of this, which is really our consumption of natural resources and then polluting the environment. So in order to reframe this issue, we're going to try and answer two questions. First is, do humans have an impact on their environment? And so let's answer that. The answer is unequivocally yes. I think you'd really have trouble finding anyone that would say we don't impact the environment, because by definition, an ecosystem is one where the organisms living in the environment impact that environment and vice versa. The environment also impacts all the organisms. Second question would be, are we impacting it in a positive or negative way? How do we determine if we have a positive or negative impact on the environment? There have been a lot of ecological studies done. You could look at any number of them. You could look at biodiversity, which we're negatively impacting. You could look at pollution, which, of course, is bad. A way to measure the magnitude of our impact would be, there's an equation that goes impact equals population times affluence times technology. And so the greater your population, the more affluent and the more technology a society has, the greater their impact on the environment, which seems to hold true. I believe the United States is the most heavily polluting country per person in the world. I could be wrong. But I think eventually, as we do start making advances in greener technology, I think that T term, that technology, should start working in our favor. We're just not there yet. So we've convincingly argued that humans have an impact on their environment, and for the most part, it's a negative one. And the root of this issue is that we're converting natural resources into pollution. And it's really hard to come up with an argument that argues in favor of more pollution or that humans aren't polluting the environment. And you'll notice that that root is the same as the root of the global warming debate. But we've completely ignored the question of, are humans increasing the temperature of the earth? In both cases, we're concerned about consumption of natural resources and pollution of the environment. So we've made this convincing argument while staying completely away from this highly politicized side of the issue. One of the more convincing arguments I've heard in favor of switching to greener energy sources is that it's not a question of if we're going to, but just a question of when. Because our natural resources will not last forever. We will have to switch at some point. And there aren't really any good reasons to delay that switch. There's only excuses and what you could call societal procrastination. And I think this procrastination is going to be one of the big issues we're going to have to get over in order to start having real discussions about how we're going to start moving forward to reduce our negative impact on this planet.